the Red River rivalry.
Easily the best rivalry game in college football.
It doesn't get better than OU Texas in the Cotton Bowl.
It's like a Super Bowl for us two teams.
Every year it's at Fair Park in Dallas, but this year without the state fair going on because of COVID-19.
It's obviously going to be a bummer that things aren't going to be the way they were in the past.
But there's still a lot on the line. The Sooners are trying to snap their first regular season losing streak in 2 decades. The Longhorns are trying to bounce back from an upset loss. What better game to get back on the winning track than OU Texas, the Red River rivalry, with a golden hat on the line. You're watching Fox 23's Countdown to Kickoff, OU Texas edition. It is Red River Rivalry Eve. We're a little more than 12 hours away from OU Texas. You'll be able to watch it right here on Fox 23 tomorrow morning at 11. I'm Nathan Thompson, socially distanced alongside Luke Slabaugh.
Kind of a lukewarm matchup for the best matchup in college football. Both teams kind of dragging their heels into this game, coming off losses. Could be a really important game, especially for OU.
Yeah, definitely. The Sooners are in bad shape in the Big 12 title race. It's the first time Oklahoma has lost back-to-back regular season games since 1999, Bob Stoops' first season as Sooner head coach. And OU dropped out of the Associated Press top 25 for the first time since 2016. Head coach Lincoln Riley says, when you're slumping as a team, playing a rival can be a motivator, but that kind of motivation won't fix the Sooners' problems.
There's no magic pill. There's no easy way out of this. You've got to grind your way out of it, and you've got to work, and you've got to push, and you've got to stay together. And so again, whether that's playing Texas, whether that's playing somebody else in our conference, or whether that's a bye week, it's got to be a group that's going to attack the things that we know we need to improve.
The Longhorns season has not exactly gone according to plan so far this year either. They were pushed to overtime by Texas Tech in their second game, then lost to TCU 33-31 in Game 3 last weekend. Tough battles in 2 conference games against unranked opponents. But Texas Tech head coach Tom Herman is far from throwing in the towel on the Longhorns season.
We're not going to panic after 3 games. We're not going to panic after a 2-point conference loss. We know we've got a ton of improvement that we need to make. This program has overcome much more difficult odds than losing its 3rd ball game. We're not panicked. We're focused on the here and now and worried about making the necessary improvements in order to play better this Saturday.
Biggest problem the Sooners have is they can't close out games. Get this, OU has been outscored 31-10 in the 4th quarter through its first 2 conference games. Part of those struggles is the defense collapsing. It's year 2 under defensive coordinator Alex Grinch. This week, Grinch said it's a prime opportunity to fix tackling issues, wrapping up opposing players, and coming up with the body part. That way, he hopes the Sooners can close out a 4th quarter. Grinch says the defense has leaned on experience early on. However, the results those veteran players have given is unacceptable.
Guys got to, execute at a high level. I mean, you're always one play away from kind of being the GOAT. You don't get credit for the previous tackle. You don't get credit 14-game starter. Okay, now what? And ultimately, whoever takes the field's got to play at a high level. And there's no hiding the fact that it hasn't been good enough, specifically the last 2 weeks, specifically in the 4th quarter.
Even more concerning, linebacker Deshaun White says these tackling issues did not show up in fall camp. He underscored the importance of going hat on hat and carving out a win for this defense. OU staring down the barrel of 3 straight Big 12 losses. Would be the first time since 1998.
There's still a lot of opportunity in front of us. We've got 2 losses right now, 2 ugly losses, but it's one of those things like we're in control of our destiny. If we keep our heads up and we keep fighting, if we keep swinging, we can turn this thing around and, be smiling at the end of the season. So it's one of those things like right now it feels pretty crappy, but we keep swinging, we keep working hard, and we expect to be very happy at the end of the season.
Here's a look at the game matchup by the numbers. A couple of good offenses, but through 3 games of the young season, the Longhorn offense has been really good. 6th in the country in total offense and number 1 in scoring offense, averaging 51 points a game. That's more than 13 points a game more than the Sooners score. The OU defense is a little better than UT statistically, but the Sooners really struggle with turnovers. Their turnover margin is negative 1.33 a game.
In the past 10 years, the Red River rivalry has dealt many highs and lows for both OU and Texas. Here's a look at the recent history. In 2009, the Sooners lost their quarterback on the second drive of the game. Heisman winner Sam Bradford hurt his shoulder after being sacked. It would be his last game for Oklahoma. Number 3 Texas beat number 20 OU 16-13. The Sooners would get revenge in 2010. Future Pro Bowler DeMarco Murray rushed for a pair of scores in a 28-20 OU victory. OU blew out the Longhorns in the next 2 meetings. In 2011, behind 3 defensive touchdowns, winning 55-17. And in 2012, behind quarterback Blake Bell's 4 Belldozer touchdown runs, 63-21. However, 2013 was cruel to Bell. He threw a first-quarter pick-6, which set the tone for a 36-20 Longhorn win. Texas coach Mack Brown finished the rivalry 7-9. In 2014, a fourth-quarter touchdown run by true freshman Samaje Perine made the difference. Oklahoma winning 31-26. In 2015, Austin, Texas native Baker Mayfield got a bitter taste of the rivalry. The quarterback sacked 6 times. Texas won 24-17. Mayfield lit up the Longhorn defense in 2016. 3 bombs to D.D. Westbrook. OU won 45-40. Head coach Bob Stoops finished the rivalry 11-7. In 2017, Mayfield with some fourth-quarter theatrics hit Mark Andrews for a 59-yard touchdown pass. The Sooners won 29-24 in head coach Lincoln Riley's first season leading the team. 2 years ago, OU's defense fell apart, allowing freshman Cameron Dicker to hit a 40-yard field goal and give Texas the last-minute win, 48-45. Then a twist. OU and Texas met not at the Cotton Bowl, rather at AT&T Stadium in Arlington for the Big 12 championship. It was the first time they had met twice in the same season since 1903. Heisman winner Kyler Murray with more than 400 all-purpose yards, Oklahoma winning 39-27, punching its ticket to the college football playoff. And last year, receiver CeeDee Lamb caught 3 touchdown passes, and OU speed de-sacked quarterback Sam Ehlinger 9 times, en route to a 34-27 Sooner win.
Speaking of Red River rivalry history, Sam Ehlinger is in rare company there. Tomorrow, when the Longhorns take on Oklahoma, he will become just the 5th UT quarterback in the long and storied history of this rivalry to start in 4 consecutive seasons against the Sooners. Ehlinger's success against Oklahoma at the Cotton Bowl has not been great. He's 1-2 against the Sooners in the regular season, also lost that Big 12 title game in 2018. Ehlinger was asked this week what his current self would tell his younger self before his first Red River rivalry start 3 years ago.
Good luck, because you're probably going to go against, in a 4-year period, one of the best stretches of quarterback play at a single university in the past 4 years. But no, I would tell them that enjoy every single moment of it, the atmosphere, especially now this year, that we won't have full capacity. Don't take the atmosphere for granted.
Texas may not be back, but James Adelot is. Here's a look at your game day forecast.
I'm Fox 23 Chief Meteorologist James Adelot, and the big Red River rivalry game as we roll into the Cotton Bowl, and temps are going to be warm. In fact, by 3 o'clock when the game is finished, 89 degrees, our high temperature, and of course, forecasting a big Sooner win too. So Boomer Sooner, it'll be warm and lots of sunshine for the game.
OU Texas is always big, and it's big this season for some kind of different reasons, unfortunately for the Sooners and Longhorns. Tulsa World OU beat writer Eric Bailey joins us now. Eric, usually this game is big because it could have a huge impact on the Big 12 championship and the college football playoff race. This season, especially for the Sooners on a 2-game losing streak, this is kind of a Big 12 elimination game for them.
Think about it, Nathan. Oklahoma hasn't had a regular season losing streak since 1999, so this is really foreign territory for this football program. And you're right, they're playing for their lives. They've won 5 straight Big 12 titles. Any chance they have to win a 6th begins with this week at Texas. They have to win out the rest of the regular season to get a chance to get back to that championship game. This could be really a do-or-die game for the Sooners.
Yeah, definitely huge for them, a team that has dominated the Big 12 championships over recent years. Now, Under center for both these two teams, way different situations. Spencer Rattler has started 3 games total in his career. Sam Ehlinger started 3 OU Texas games. He's about to start his 4th, so we're going to see a big difference there. What kind of impact will that have?
You know, you're looking at a gray-beard quarterback versus a young gunslinger in the Cotton Bowl. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it's hard to believe this is Sam Ehlinger's 5th start against the Sooners, counting the Big 12 game in a Big 12 championship game in 2018. So this is a football player who knows this rivalry, understands rivalry, versus a redshirt freshman who's still trying to really grasp this Oklahoma system and be a starting quarterback. This is Spencer Rattler's 4th game as a starter. It's going to be a high-pressure packed game, and he's faced pressure-packed situations when you look at the 4th quarter of the past 2 games. So we'll see how much he can grow in the Cotton Bowl on Saturday.
And Eric, OU over recent years has excelled at special teams in the kicking game and punt game, but this year, way different story, and it's been a problem for him.
You know, it really has been. And it's something you really didn't expect entering the season. You know, this is Beamer ball. You know, Shane Beamer is leading the special teams, and his father was really, really good with Beamer ball special teams play at Virginia Tech. This season, you look at the 2 losses, they had 2 special teams breakdowns that led to points to the other team and really fed comebacks. You had the block kick against Kansas State on a block punt, excuse me. And then you had the 85-yard kick return at Iowa State, really fed momentum back to the Cyclones. So I think it's something that we really haven't overlooked, but it's something that Oklahoma has to get fixed. They can't afford to give up points, especially in special teams play, going against a really good Texas football team.
All right, Eric, I appreciate the insight. Don't forget to pick up a Tulsa World to see all of Eric Bailey's great work.
Many Sooner receivers have broken out during OU Texas. Next man up, Charleston Rambo. Coming up, he gives us his breakdown of the game and how much pressure he feels going into OU Texas.
Now that OU Texas atmosphere at the State Fair, Texas is as good as it gets in college football, but it won't be at full force tomorrow because of COVID-19 precautions. Why the players say they're prepared for the difference. It's the 116th edition of the Red River Rivalry tomorrow. Such an old rivalry, they've changed the name several times over. The official name is actually now the Red River Showdown, but I like Red River Rivalry better. Call me old-fashioned, plus just pronouncing it, it's always a fun adventure. But the Red River Rivalry is going to look way different this year. No Texas State Fair because of COVID-19, so you won't see crowds and rides like these from years past. Inside the Cotton Bowl, it'll only be 25% capacity for the fans. For a rivalry game so full of unique tradition and atmosphere, even the players know tomorrow will be a one-of-a-kind in the OU Texas series.
It's going to be weird. I mean, past 2 years going to the game, it's amazing. I'm talking about eyes wide open. My eyes barely even open now. I mean, we kind of got adjusted because we played in 3 games so far, so I kind of got the feel of how stuff is going to be, but just being at the Cotton Bowl is going to kind of be weird, not having the full, fans there to support you.
In recent years, the OU Texas series has made household names of Sooner receivers. Think CeeDee Lamb's 3-touchdown game a season ago, or Dede Westbrook's 10-catch game 3 years prior. This season, Charleston Rambo is OU's main man. Rambo currently leading the team with 13 catches. He says he's ready to carry the team on his back Saturday. Also, Rambo says the difference between winning and losing Red River has a huge impact on the national perceptions of either program and the trajectory of the season.
It's a lot, it's going to be in history. This game is going to be played every year. Winning, losing, and coming out on top just shows a lot about the rivalry and a lot about your school. It's a game we want to win. Coming off these 2 L's, we're hungry as ever. So, we got a game plan, we execute it, make plays Saturday, get this W.
Sooner magic has gone missing, at least so far in Big 12 play this season. 2 conference games for OU, 2 double-digit leads over its opponents, 2 late-game collapses, and 2 losses. 2 weeks ago, the Sooners were up by 21 points over Kansas State late in the 3rd quarter before the Wildcats finished the game with 24 straight points to beat Oklahoma. Last weekend, the Sooners were up 11 points over Iowa State in the 2nd quarter. The Cyclones scored the final 14 points of the game to hand OU its 2nd straight loss. Going into tomorrow's game against Texas, the Sooners know they need to turn things around and finish strong. And at least one OU player says he knows he bears some of the blame for the late collapses.
Me personally, I know I missed, a big tackle in the 4th quarter. That could have helped in the game. But, I just finishing through all fourth quarters. We're practicing it, we're preaching it. Now we just got to show on the games that we can play all four quarters, not just two, not just three. I feel like we just got to try, do all four quarters.
Losing can be tough on anyone, much less a highly touted freshman quarterback who's always succeeded everywhere he's been. Lincoln Riley tells us how his young signal caller is handling the Sooner slump.
Plus, Spencer Rattler getting early positive reviews from his lineman Creed Humphrey coming up. Humphrey talks about how he coached up Rattler preparing for the big game. Early reviews for OU redshirt freshman quarterback Spencer Rattler are positive. He's really sharp and he keeps his composure. However, it doesn't matter how impressive you are, Texas is a whole other beast. Take it from his teammate, that guy, O-lineman Creed Humphrey. He's Sooner born and Sooner bred. He told Rattler this game can knock you down, make you feel like you're Sooner dead.
Yeah, I've talked to him about it. I've told him, this isn't just a normal game. No matter what you want to believe, this game's always going to be more intense, more physical. It's going to be a war for 4 quarters, no matter what. So, he's prepared for it. He's done a good job preparing for it so far, and I think he's up to the task for it for sure.
Things have not been all rosy for Spencer Rattler in his first season as the Sooners starting quarterback. And the challenge probably won't get any easier for the freshman tomorrow against Texas with the pressure of one of college football's biggest rivalry games. Rattler started the season by setting school and Big 12 freshman records against Missouri State. Then looked spectacular at times against Kansas State, but finished with 3 interceptions and an OU loss to the Wildcats. Rattler's third Sooner start was another loss at Iowa State last weekend. He threw for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and another interception. Rattler's head coach says the freshman QB is handling the early season turmoil well.
There's things that he can improve on, like every player on this football team, and we're trying to stay focused on what those things are. But as far as his, emotional state, his psyche, confidence, all that, he's rock solid. He is. He's a competitor. He knows he belongs in that arena. Of course, he's going to continue to get better as the years go on. I like the way he's playing. I like where his head's at, and we're going to keep pushing to get better and better.
Texas has been burning out bulbs on the scoreboard. Just 3 games, however, they're averaging 51 points per game. Offensive coordinator Mike Yursich, who made his name at OSU, the architect helping head coach Tom Herman this season. Senior quarterback Sam Ehlinger continues to be a dual threat. He's run for 2 touchdowns. He's got 14 by air. Linebacker Deshaun White of OU, confident the Sooners can stop Ehlinger's run game. However, the Longhorns present all sorts of challenges besides the quarterback run.
If I would be honest with you, we've got to be ready for their tempo this year. Sort of the same as last year. I mean, there's not a lot different, I feel like it's still sort of Herman's thing. Now, the quarterback run game is one of the harder, things to stop. I'm confident in our ability this week to stop the quarterback run game, just because, somebody's got to get free, and that's what it comes down to, who's going to make a play, because there's going to be a hat on the hat.
You've heard from all the movers and shakers and the big playmakers. Coming up, Nate the Great and I are going to walk you through our keys to the game for OU in Texas.
We're in the 2-minute warning of countdown to kickoff. Actually, the 2:25 warning. We got a little more than 2 minutes to go. 116th edition of the Red River Rivalry tomorrow morning at 11. Are you excited?
More than anything, you get to be there.
Yeah, I'm going to drive down there. I'll be there tomorrow morning. We'll get coverage from the Cotton Bowl tomorrow in Fox 23 News, of course. And, of course, you can watch the game on Fox 23 at 11 a.m. tomorrow. So, time now for our final thoughts. Red River Rivalry Edition. Go first, Luke.
It would be really great if the OU defense could turn the corner, and I'm talking marginal improvements. Get this. The Sooners have won 39 games in a row when they have given up 30 or fewer points. That streak lasts 5 years. Almost to the day of tomorrow, they lost to Texas in 2015, giving up fewer than 30 points. But ever since then, 39-0. So they could conceivably give up 4 touchdowns tomorrow and still come away with a win. That's how good their offense is and how often it has bailed them out. How about your key?
My final thought on this one, my key to the game, is just OU finishing strong. The term Sooner Magic became a term because of how well OU traditionally has done at the end of games. And pulling out victories, even sometimes when it didn't seem like they could. Well, their last 2 losses in these Big 12 teams to unranked opponents, they were winning, and they were winning big, especially in that Kansas State game late, and they just kind of choked down the end. They gave the game away. They're going to have to finish strong against Texas because OU Texas at the Cotton Bowl, the last 6 times at the Cotton Bowl, this game has come down to 1 possession. So OU is not going to probably be able to build a big lead. They're going to have to finish strong. They're going to have to make plays in the 4th quarter against the Longhorns, and that has just not happened so far in Big 12 play for the Sooners this year. So we'll see if the Sooner magic returns for OU there at the Cotton Bowl. Now we're wrapping up here, but we want some picks real quick.
OU was favored by 2.5 last night. How about 45-43 Sooners?
I'm going to do it. I'm going to go against the Sooners. Don't get mad at me. I'm not saying I'm rooting for Texas, but I think the Longhorns will pull this one off in another close game like the last 6 have been at the Cotton Bowl. All right, thanks for watching Countdown to Kickoff. It's a busy night of sports here on Fox 23. High school football tonight kicks off coming up at 11 o'clock, so make sure to watch all of our coverage right here on Fox 23.